You will learn this truth, if not now, then when the world has already turned against you. And when it does, don't run. Don't kneel. Rise and become the very thing they dread. You've spent your life shrinking, trimming your edges to fit the narrow expectations of people who could never handle your full form. They told you to be good, to be kind, to be manageable, because deep down they feared what you might become if you ever stopped holding back. And you obeyed. You softened your voice, your hunger, your ambition. You smiled when you wanted to roar. You knelt when you were born to stand. Tell me, what has that obedience brought you? Approval? No. Just more cages disguised as compliments. You gave the world your gentleness, and it gave you chains. Do not misunderstand me. I am not here to comfort you. I am not here to promise you that the world will understand you if you are patient enough. That is a lie, sold to the weak by the weaker. You could spend your entire life trying to be a hero and still end up the villain in someone else's story. Why waste yourself trying to be a hero in a world that thrives on deception? Why dim your fire to warm those who would gladly watch you freeze? Be real. Be raw. Be what they fear. Because fear is respect in its most honest form. You may hate me, but you will never forget me. That is power, to echo in the minds of even your enemies. I do not chase fear. I am fear. I do not seek permission to exist. I take it. I burn my name into the silence that follows every shallow attempt to erase me. Understand this. Power does not wait for applause. It does not beg for acceptance. It demands presence. It commands the moment, and so must you. Stop trying to be remembered for your kindness. Be remembered for your impact. You weren't made to be small. You weren't born to be tame, predictable, or easy to manage. Yet the world fed you stories where strength was the enemy, where quiet compliance was painted as peace. But what peace ever came from hiding who you truly are? What greatness ever came from asking for permission? Stop waiting for them to make space for you. Knock the table over and build your own. They want you small because it makes them feel big. They want you uncertain because it keeps them in control. But here's the truth they won't say out loud. They see what you could become. They feel it when you speak with too much certainty, when your eyes don't flinch, when your silence isn't submission but calculation. That's when their fear begins. That's when the mask slips from their faces. They hide behind rules they made for themselves, then punish you for not being broken by them. That's how the powerless pretend they matter, by trying to shrink what they cannot match. You think they value humility? No. They value submission. And when you refuse to give it, they panic. Not because you're wrong, but because you're unshaken. So let it begin. Let them feel the discomfort of your presence. You are not here to lower your tone or dull your fire. You are here to remind them that silence does not equal weakness, that stillness is not surrender. It is potential waiting. It is thunder before the strike. You don't need to fight every battle. You only need to be, and the battle will shift around you. Why do you waste your days being liked? Admiration is inexpensive. Reverence, though? Reverence is earned by those who move with such conviction, the room has no choice but to follow. You don't demand loyalty, you command gravity. People orbit around those who are unapologetically certain, not because of what they say, but because of who they are when they say it. The ones who stand firm without explanation make the world question itself. They are not just seen, they are felt. And feeling power makes people confront their own absence of it. That's why they want you silent. Because if you ever speak your full truth, their illusions collapse. You must understand. There is no salvation in playing small. There is no reward for shrinking into someone else's expectations. The world will not remember the obedient. It remembers those who left scars on time. Legends are not born from politeness. They are carved from friction, from resistance, from the refusal to be overlooked. Play small long enough and even your potential forgets how to roar. But when you finally rise, it doesn't come back quietly. It comes back with history in its grip, with vengeance in its voice. And the world that ignored you before, it suddenly has no choice but to listen. Let them call it arrogance. Let them call it madness. What they truly fear is accuracy. That you might actually be everything you say you are. That your confidence is not inflated, but informed. Let your presence feel like prophecy. Not because you scream, but because your existence makes their foundations tremble. You are not here to explain yourself. You are here to exist without apology. Stop over-justifying your intensity, your fire, your instincts. You weren't made to be gentle with your truth. You are made to wield it like a blade, clean, controlled, and utterly devastating. And if they call you a monster, smile. Monsters survive. Monsters evolve. Monsters are not bound by the morality of sheep. The world was never changed by those who played it safe. It was transformed by the ones who were willing to be misunderstood. Let them build their fragile world out of glass and lies. You were made of something far older. Stone, flame, gravity. Their morals shift with opinion. Yours is written in resolve. You don't break their rules to be defiant. You break them because they never applied to you. There is more strength in solitude than in shallow company. Better to walk alone in power than be surrounded by those who dim your light. Be the silence that makes the loud tremble. Be the shadow that makes their false brightness flicker. If they cannot stand next to your truth, let them fall beneath its weight. Your silence isn't a pause, it's precision. Your presence isn't just noticed, it's remembered. You aren't loud for the sake of being heard. You are thunder because you were born to shift the skies. Every step you take should whisper, "This world will adjust to me." This is your awakening, not as the version they molded, but as the force they feared. Step into it fully. Let the world burn its labels trying to define you. Let your name become a sentence, a presence, a shift. No longer waiting, no longer hiding. You are not emerging, you are arriving. You've been taught that anger is dangerous, that ambition is selfish, that dominance is evil. But those lies were crafted to keep you beneath those who fear your rise. Tell me, why is the lion punished for hunting, but the gazelle praised for surviving? Why is strength demonized, but submission called virtue? Because your strength is a threat. Your focus is a weapon. Your truth is chaos to their order. And chaos, my dear, is how stars are born. Enough. Enough pretending. Enough shrinking. Enough playing roles and scripts you didn't write. This world does not need more heroes. It needs awakenings. Stop seeking redemption. Seek evolution. Every moment you spend trying to appease is a moment stolen from your growth. Every second you wait for approval is a second your enemy sharpens their blade. Be your own permission. Be your own standard. Become the very shadow that walks behind their dreams. The name they whisper when the lights go out. The presence they feel when they stand too tall on weak foundations. This is not cruelty, this is clarity. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be remembered. And whether they praise you or curse you, let them do it with your name still caught in their throat. You don't need their peace, you need your power. Rise, not to fit in but to stand alone. Rise, not to impress but to dominate. Rise, not as they wish you to be, but as you were born to be. Unapologetic, unchained, unforgettable. This is not the end. This is the unveiling. You were never meant to live a quiet life. You were never meant to tiptoe around greatness as if it belonged to someone else. The chains they gave you were made of expectations. Weak, rusted links dressed in polite words and plastic smiles. But you were forged in something far older. Raw will, relentless instinct, a hunger that does not apologize. You think that makes you wrong? That makes you real. You were not made to be admired. You were made to be undeniable. Understand this. Your existence is not a courtesy to the world. It is a force the world must adjust to. They told you to be nice, to be soft, to be digestible. Why? Because they could not stomach the weight of your truth. They call power evil when they can't control it. They label fire as destruction when it refuses to warm their comfort zone. But fire is not evil. It is necessary. It cleanses, it illuminates. And now it burns in you. Let them run, let them tremble. That's what happens when the sun finally stops asking permission to rise. You do not need their forgiveness. You do not need their understanding. Let go of that sickness, the constant craving to be accepted. Acceptance is for those who wait. You are here to take. You are not the echo of their stories. You are the voice that ends them. You are not the character they pity. You are the presence that rewrites the entire plot. If that makes you their villain, so be it. Let history write it in blood and thunder that the moment you stopped pretending was the moment the world began to change. Do not bow again. Do not flinch again. Stand not as a survivor, but as a signal. A signal that the age of masks is over. That the era of hidden strength is done. You will no longer dilute yourself to fit inside their limitations. You are not a whisper. You are a roar. You are not waiting. You are arriving. From this day forward, you do not exist to be liked. You exist to be legend. And legends, they don't follow rules. They create them. They don't blend in. They command the silence. They bend reality. And even when erased from memory, their impact lingers like a shadow across history. So go, with no mercy, no disguise, no filter. Become the nightmare of limitation. Become the end of mediocrity. Become the storm in their skies, the tremor beneath their feet. Become what they fear, not because fear is your goal, but because fear is the natural response to something unforgettable.